Hey everyone.
Hello.
Y'all look so great. I look as tired as I feel. Here we are.
Happy pre-Halloween.
Happy pre-Halloween.
Happy pre-Halloween.
Huh.
I feel like I already did Halloween though, and I'm done. This is the last vestiges of it. Just for y'all.
Yes.
I'm doing a get out the vote, trick or vote Halloween canvassing tomorrow.
I love trick or vote.
I love both tricks and votes. Can I have both?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna do some phone calls for Oakland while I'm in Milwaukee.
Yay!
I just got back from Chicago to Milwaukee today. I had this like convening all weekend or from last week into this week. And I had like really big plans because I forgot I was like tired, more tired than I was pre-pandemic. So I was like just living pre-pandemic life. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll be in Chicago. I'll see this person, I'll see that person. And then it was like literally a 3-day convening, and every day at the end of it, I was like, oh, I'm not seeing anyone but the bed.
You were seeing people. You were convened.
I was convened. And I was watching GH, and it was like that's what I would do. I'd watch GH and fall asleep.
Yep.
There we are.
Yeah.
How was y'all week?
So, in Oakland election time, we've had the October surprise drama. Oh, but other than that, it's great. I want you to know, I don't know if you noticed, Tracy, Sandra, we're not connected on Facebook, but I keep having little conflicts with my boss, Carol Fife, about our drinking habits. And so before she was like, she doesn't understand people that drink water out of mugs. And I was like, a lot of people drink water out of mugs. So I did a survey about drinking water out of mugs, and folks were like, yeah, I mean, whatever. And today she's like, she doesn't understand how I don't drink coffee. I don't like it. I hate coffee. And so she's like, you wouldn't tell people on social media about that. And I was like, bet. So I posted, I hate coffee, social media. Now that got a lot of different comments, which is interesting. People, it's a polarizing topic for people.
I want you to know I had no idea where this conversation was going. I was like, what's happening?
I was like, are we about to like air out some like real like Oakland politics, like dirty secrets?
And I was like, I'll go for it. I'll figure out a way to cut it out for Tanya's safety, but I'll let you vent. So I really actually love the direction this went in. I'm never on Facebook, so I did not see your water thing.
I thought you saw it, but you didn't see the water thing.
But I happened to log on Facebook to be nosy about something in my family today, because it's the only reason I get on. And I saw your thing about coffee, and I did see it got controversial. People were like, what is wrong with you? And I was one of those people.
Ooh, it's getting juicy.
So, but yeah, so those are the kind of shenanigans I get down with in order to de-stress.
Not coffee though.
I was on 2 coffees a day, like especially when I'm conferencing. I need that first cup of hotel coffee, like the really kind of yuck coffee to get me going. And then I need to go find some real coffee. So it was like the last day, I was extremely exhausted, and I saw somebody walking with Starbucks, and I was like, wait, did we not all order this together? Did you come in? Did you go without me? It was a whole problem. So anyway, I'm very serious about my coffee. But I do drink water out of mugs.
Well, it's okay because Starbucks isn't real coffee.
Ooh, it was the realest thing that was close.
You're like, hello.
We're just all getting really controversial here.
I know you like to like hand grind your beans and have a little
hand grind. No, that was a mistake. That was a early lockdown mistake. I have a electric grinder like every other bougie bitch out there.
But you do admit that you have hand grinding beans to make sure they were just fresh enough.
No, it was the only option, and I didn't even finish. I got fatigued, and then I cried.
It's like I'm already tired. I'm not trying to hand grind beans to make me even more tired.
I'm tired. I'm traumatized. Give me my coffee. So I do. I drink a lot. I drink a lot of coffee.
Coffee smells and it gets in my hair and it makes me smell for the whole day and I
It
can't.
smells amazing.
Smells like smoke and I've been through a fire. And no.
Well, this has been the controversial. This is not the controversial take I thought I was going to have this episode.
No.
But here we are.
Yeah.
All right. I just want y'all to know, in my exhaustion, I did not do well with the recap, but I got you for what I got you with. No,
if
am I
people
the
didn't
asshole?
watch the show, that's their problem, not yours.
That's right.
Why are you listening to this podcast? Go watch the show. Just
Go
kidding.
watch the
The
show.
podcast is better.
And I will have to say I watched the show. There's quite a bit that I don't remember.
That's
Well,
fair.
I certainly dissociated through large chunks of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. The people don't need to know about it.
Yeah. I mean, anytime that Nina's on screen, I have like a blind rage, obviously, as anyone knows. So I miss that.
I certainly miss that because I don't get into a blind rage, but I do dissociate. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I don't like Nina. Here we go.
All right.
Gladys offered to be Sasha's conservator. We'll get into that. Trina couldn't stop thinking about Spencer despite being at off-brand Comic-Con with Snorri. Cam and Joss go visit Spencer and his struggle beard. Victor stole Nicholas's confession and pushed him to divorce Ava. He threatened to move into Windermere, but ultimately postponed. Which, would you want to live with Nicholas? I'd postpone that shit too. Anna was arrested for shooting Lucy. Everyone knows she was being set up. Besides this overreaching ADA, Cody and Mac took a DNA test while my new fave Georgie shaded Austin. I love little Georgie. Sucking up her name. Britt hired Sam to dig up information on Peter's necklace. Okay, PI Sam. Elizabeth and Terry headed to Monterey, which I hope they hit the aquarium. And Liz comes face to face with her father.
Do, do, do.
Thank you. I needed that. Multiple Port Charles couples have sexy time. I didn't want to see most of it, but Chase and Brooklyn, happy for them. Felicia and Mac, get it, Felicia.
Yeah,
Joss and Cam, and Sunny and Nina. Heather Weber is back, and I love it. Willow's cancer may be worse. Turns out that is what might happen when you don't get treatment. Carly changes her last name to Spencer, but she might be thrown in jail before she gets used to that last name because Ned has threatened to jail her and Drew for insider trading. And those are the big things that happened this week.
I don't know why it tickled me so much when you're like, he threatened to jail them. It tickled me.
I was like, Ned? Okay.
That's the most interesting Ned has been.
Yeah.
Long time.
I've worked for Ned. Anyway, Sandra, how did you feel about the week? What was your favorite moment?
The week was boring. It was boring. I did a little bit of a fast forward rewatch. I'm still for some reason not taking any notes. And so I was like, what the fuck happened? And not much. Not much happened. It was a lot of stuff I just like didn't really care about. Like, I'm sorry, your faves crew. I kept falling asleep. But there were like little moments. Would you?
It was boring.
It was really boring. I'll talk more about that later, but yeah, and then like
right now.
stuff that because I'm supposed to be talking about my favorite moment, okay, y'all. Okay. The stuff that that I normally care more about was just kind of, not a lot happened. And then one of my faves is being again wrongly accused and railroaded by this fucking ADA. So I didn't love the week. It wasn't awful though. I was just randomly rewatching actually one of our episodes I was trying to remember something that we had talked about. And it reminded me how bad the show was last year. So, perspective. But my favorite moment was Trina fantasizing about Spencer while she's with Rory. I screamed, I howled, I cheered. This is the Sprina content while somehow Spencer is in jail that I need. I really was so delighted and surprised. Thank you. I really liked it running parallel with Chaos's visit with Spencer at Pentonville. Like I liked both those, like that kind of cluster of scenes. It made also like Spencer finding out that Trina knows he's always believed in her and she still doesn't give a fuck. Like, and how disappointed he was. It made it a much sweeter. It made me be able to enjoy his disappointment more because he does kind of deserve it. But goddamn, if Nicholas Chavez just does not know how to play Spencer, so pathetic. And like him trying to like collect himself, like, no, it's fine, and she can go be with that cop. I'm so happy for them. And then I really loved the down bad Spencer calling Trina, presumably just to listen to her voicemail. Like it was I was like, that's how I need to see my child, down bad. And then on top of that, there was the throwback that Cameron offered, about the time that he set Spencer on fire during his birthday. Never forget. And I really loved I'm stuck with you as a cousin, but I choose you as a friend. The cousins. So I'm gonna, at first I was like, am I gonna pick my kids again? They were barely on. And you know what? No regrets. I picked my kids.
No regrets.
No regrets. I'm the kind of person who cringe content makes me cringe and it makes me uncomfortable. And Rory and Trina made me cringe. I was like, oh my God. Like, everything about it. Free Trina. I mean, like, free Spencer, but free Trina and free me. My God. It's just like, I don't know if it's an acting choice. I don't know what it is, but like, they have like progressively gotten worse together when they should be more comfortable together. It was like, bro, she does not like you.
She don't like you.
She liked them kids dressed up as the Incredibles more than she likes you. Like, this is unfortunate. Please free everyone from this. And then, of course, he had to bring up being a cop again. I was just like, my God, shut up.
As if we could forget.
As if we could forget, but my God, like, and then he was like on the phone with just no swag, like trying to get a discount. Like, Put some bass in your voice, sir. Okay. Like I was just like, he's just like, hey, you better make it right. And then hung up. How?
Mhm.
Get out of here. I just no, no, thank you. Um, but I did enjoy it still. It was still one of my favorite moments. I just wanted to like say all of that. The fantasy of it all, I was like, I like yelped. I like jumped up. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So I loved that. And then I obviously loved Victor versus Sona. Like when Victor was like, yeah, like you did your daughter. I was like, is Victor a Gemini? Like, what's going on?
Gotta be.
Like,
Victor's gotta be a Gemini.
Yeah.
this is just like below the belt. Like I wouldn't even say that to Nina. Like, my God.
I made a note for when I talk about more about Victor later. But when he told Nina, well, is that because you don't have a family of your own?
I
I
cracked up.
screamed. Why are you so interested in my family? Oh, is it because you don't have a family of your own?
Like mean girl Victor.
Savage!
Like why is Victor a mean girl? And then when
Who
he like made fun of Sunny's accent, like when he did like the fake New York gangster accent.
who needs a weather machine? Like he's just
Victor's cold
taking
as
people
ice.
down. He's taking people down with his words.
Mhm.
It was amazing. And to be honest with you, like I know he's supposed to be a villain, but the only person who I really care about that he's done something wrong to is Anna.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like everything he said about Nicholas, no lie was told.
I love it.
Loved it.
My favorite is when he's just like, whenever he talks about Ava being too good for Nicholas, he's like, you're with him?
Him and you.
And he's always just like, you know that you can't handle her, right?
But yeah, Victor versus Sona just tickled me. He was like, oh, too bad my son couldn't benefit from like, it was just it was everything I needed. Tanya, your faves and who was your performer of the week?
Um, I agree with everything you guys said. For me, my favorite part of Charles Shaughnessy with in that scene where Sonny's like, "You better apologize," and then he's just like withdrawn, like, "I'm not gonna apologize, but I will withdraw." Like that was just like,
To say it again later.
like, I'll say it again. Whatever. I'm not threatened by you, but I'll just withdraw it for now. Awesome. That had me cackle. Also, so my performances of the week are Charles Shaughnessy and Will Lipton. And not only for those scenes that we had already talked about, but like throughout the week, I thought they had some really great performances. So like the other things, Charles Shaughnessy with Nicholas, and loved how he just like Nicholas is just like, you don't threaten me or you don't scare me or whatever, and he's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm sending all my stuff to the house later on tonight. I was just like, that was cracked me up. He's just like, he was on point with Sunny, totally on point. The idea of Sunny pretending to, I'm gonna put that in what doesn't work. So just say Charles did he did well throughout the week. I mean, his note to Ava, missing something. I mean, just everything was on point. I mean, last week he was all he was over the top, but I loved it when he was pretending to be concerned about Lucy and scared of Anna. But this week he, was menacing when he needed to be menacing, and he was great. So kudos to Charles Shaughnessy. William Lipton, great all week, even though we only saw a little bit of him, but he was great. His scenes with Nicholas Chavez in the jail, awesome. Saying, I choose you as a brother, or as a friend, saying no matter what, through all the ups and downs that we've had, we always got each other's back. Loved that. Loved his scene with Finn. When really he was trying to tell Finn about his mom, but he really was talking about himself. And I love the juxtaposition between that scene and Joss saying, well, I think we're, being drifted apart, and I don't know if Cam can handle it. Cam can handle it, and he's proving that he can. But apparently, folks think just because he has good manners that he's weak. That's not true. Love that about Cam. I love William Lipton. Only thing that could have made it better is if he had a song, because he's great and I want his band to come back. So those are my performances of the week. What else is working with?
Oh, I wanted to like echo. I really loved William this week. I actually tweeted about him when I was like about to fall asleep one night. Like, William was great. I really is he like the most emotionally available man on the show right now? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and I like how you said man, because he's like all the men.
Young man, yeah, he's a young man.
He's better than all the men on the show. That's what I like about it.
He like just a good friend, good son, good brother, good cousin. I really enjoyed him, and I think that they have done a really good job, and William has done a really good job of finding the right pocket for him to play this character. And the earnestness and the like care and support that he shows is not actually easy to do without making it cheesy. And he really like delivers that. It was Eden had posted some pictures on her Twitter of him like looking at Becky Hurst. And he was like, I mean, it was like a very like respectful, like, oh, that's my mom, like look on his face. I've just really been impressed by him and really enjoyed him. I know that we don't get a lot of him because he's on recurring, because he's so busy. And I think it's really easy for us to like talk about how other people feel about him. So I do hope that we get some point of view from him, not just in the relationship with Joss, but like on all the things that he's been through, because he's been through a lot. So yeah, just definitely kudos to William. I think he's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved his scenes. I had a note that just said William Lipton is putting in the work this week. And in a really like lovely, subtle ways. And I when he told Finn that Elizabeth is her own hero, I was like, oh God, yes, you did so good, baby. I was very proud.
I don't need you, crown her.
That was great. I was like, you tell him. And yeah, echo everything everyone said. And I will say that I also had one of the things that was working for me this week was Charles Shaughnessy as Victor. And I, a lot of what y'all have already touched on, like, I know I should hate him, right? Because of him targeting Anna and what he's doing to Valentine and Charlotte. And like part of me does, but like not most of me. He's trying to break up Neva. He's constantly embarrassing Margulis. Constantly.
That's a plus.
Charles has all the chemistry with Maura and quite frankly everyone. And just generally the character is just very, very delightful. And so thank you for your talent. And I also loved when Nicholas was like, oh, we're doing construction on North Tower, blah, blah, blah. Oh, what's one tower and a little noise? Like my family home has multiple towers. What does it matter if one's completely under construction? I loved it. It's like a way to give like Windermere more majesty than the GH budget can actually portray. So that really worked for me. But what most works for me is You know, it's Scorpio season, which means it's Anna Devane season. And it's also Finola Hughes season.
Mm-hmm.
Finola Hughes, even though not much happened with Anna this week, right? We know she got arrested. And like there wasn't a lot of like big, juicy, like standout scenes for her necessarily in her storyline, which is disappointing. But it doesn't matter because Finola still like just like milked everything out of those scenes because she's such a pro. She just had so many different shades and colors to each of her performances. There were so many choices that she made that were so interesting when the material like very easily could have not been interesting. It was a lot of like people saying a lot of really ridiculous things, her being set up in a really ridiculous way, you know, interacting with a lot of frustrating characters. And she just played like 3 different emotional layers in every scene, regardless of how mundane it was. Like when she told the ADA, "You're falling for it, just like he knew you would." She's just so clear on what's happening and just like casually impatient. Like, here we go again. Wrongfully accused. These idiots. Well, I guess I'll have to formulate my plan in my jail cell. Just like so much appreciation for, you know, both these actors who are very talented, experienced, and really just taking material that is pretty run of the mill and making it very interesting. So it's Finola Hughes season for me. What about you, Tracy?
Yes, I actually had Finola Hughes as being what's working, so don't have to go too much into it because you not only said it, but you said it better than I would have. GH Sunday Shift did wish Finola a happy birthday, and I posted up uh, like a gif of Beyonce and a picture from Vanna Live, and she responded, and I gasped as if like I was just like, the queen has spoken to me. Like it was just, I love her. Like, what is not to love? And it is just that she put so much. I mean, just like it was her birthday and she was like trending and she was just like so gracious. And I'm like, here this woman is like 37 years into her career. She's not slowed down. She's not taking it for granted. Cause like to your point, Sandra, she could just like phone it in and I mean, I'd still love her because whatever, but she doesn't. She like actually cares about the work and it's not like she doesn't look at soap like she is on a soap and she is like doing her craft on a soap. And that just works. She makes every single thing work. And the other thing that worked for me, very different from Nola, and I was wondering, Sandra, if you even thought about me when this was happening, because I'm the only person in the world who loved the Jocelyn and Oscar Walk to Remember story. I own it. I own it. I'm the only person on earth, and I don't care. I loved it. Loved it. Sandra remembers the whole time. I was like, oh my God, Oscar's dying. And you were like, fuck that kid.
I'm ready for him to die already.
Right.
I was so affected. I love their story so much. So like having them like bring it up like really worked for me. And there are just like other little things that I think the show is like bringing up from history and like I mean like we all have been harping on the fact that Cam and Spencer are cousins. And like that finally came up again. So I'm hoping, I just like Easter eggs, if you will. I like the acknowledgement that of like longtime fanhood. And so we have like the vets front and center and like pushing and pulling a story right now. I don't need to have watched in 85 to like appreciate them talking about something that happened in 85. And so I definitely want you talking about something that happened in like 2019 and not forgetting it happened and weaving it into people's characters. So I really appreciated that moment. of them talking about it because it was just like an acknowledgement that of history, not like acknowledgments of history.
Yeah.
What about you, Tanya? And again, I know I'm the only person in the world who liked that story, and I loved it enough for everyone.
You sure did. You really did.
Yeah. I like the teens, and we'll probably start, talking about the teens more, but I like, they're the only ones that were the highlight of week, basically. Also, but I do like seeing the vets on the screen. I like them having a story and being part of the whole canvas. I appreciate that. And like, Tracy said, we don't have to know all the history, but they're coming back and they're interacting in the future, and it's great. Instead of just being the grandma coming to visit. Unfortunately, Bobby, that seems to be where you're regulated to be, but still love that you're here still. The other thing that I liked, even though I've always never really enjoyed Chaylin as a couple, I liked Chase and his super duper dopey romantic self about Brooklyn. That interview that he did where he was talking about Brooklyn being his muse, I was like, oh, I want him to be my boyfriend for like an hour. Just so he can talk about me, say how wonderful I am. Just like, I loved it. I love that speech so much.
That's what you would do with an hour with Chase as your boyfriend?
Just listen to him.
Thinking the exact same thing. Like,
because
I'm not
attracted. Other ideas.
I'm not attracted to Chase, though. I'm not. Sorry. I mean, he's cute and everything, but I'm not like.
What if he came out in the gray sweatpants? Never mind. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, he came out in gray sweatpants and Idris Elba's face. No, Idris Elba's body. Yeah. And then talked like Idris Elba. Yes. His name was Chase, but he was Idris Elba. Sure. But no.
I appreciate the vision. Yes.
Yeah. But I loved how romantic he was, and and how in love that he is with Brooklyn. I'm not necessarily feeling it on Brooklyn's side yet. I don't know. I know that she likes him and finds him attractive, but I don't think she's as into him as he's into her. And maybe because she's not letting him be who he wants to be, she's just kind of using him to get back at, and so that's why I'm not like excited about her and him, but I'm excited that, and I love that he loves her and he clearly has feelings for her. I just wish that he and Willow were kind of more on equal footing, but I don't see that with Brooklyn per se. Maybe that's just me. So I'm not quite sure why Chaylin fans are Chaylin fans.
So this is what's working for you?
Huh?
This was what's working.
No, he was working for me. Chaylin's not working for me, but he is. Now that little
my God.
I didn't realize this was going to end with a "why are you the way that you are."
Can I have something that I really loved about Chase though? I love how dopey and goofy he is. So when they were like in the kitchen and he was like just being weird and like going with the flow or whatever, and then somebody was like, "It's Monica's house," and he was like, "Yeah, Alan gave it to her," and everybody looked at him like, "Bro." I loved it.
I forgot to mention what really worked for me this week was Olivia seeing Chase's dick.
Now, yeah, that was another thing that was working for me was Olivia's over the topness all week. But yeah, that scene was hilarious.
I loved it. It was my favorite part of Chlin baking. I'm not anti, but it was my favorite part. It was very entertaining.
I think I can do what's not working for me. Sadly, it was Cree. It's not that I don't like them as a couple. I actually do. I do like the pairing. I don't like what they're doing with them. I was like, I remember turning Monday on, and I was like, oh yeah, we're still in Malibu, Florida, huh? Interesting. Um, I it's just the vibe is too self-helpy. It's too, I don't know, like it's just these are too like just let them be. Like I don't know. It's just the story is not working for me. I still ship it. It's my ship, but I am not too proud to say that the story is not working for me. But I was really happy when Carly changed her name to Spencer. That is something I was like really looking forward to. I really loved those scenes with Bobby. I
Yeah.
actually liked the scenes with them, with crew in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that like maybe back in Port Charles they'll find like better footing. But I actually didn't think that Drew really needed to be in the story in Jacksonville. I didn't hate the Jacksonville story as much as other people did. I understood where it was, and Carly is making like this really big life change, and they wanted to like very specifically say that she was no longer with Sonny and that she was turning another chapter in her life. So I get what they were doing with Jacksonville. I actually just wish that it would have been Bobby there with her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then for her to be able to like have maybe talk to Drew, and for him to like maybe have like surprised her and come down when the ashes were spread or something like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
actually didn't need Drew in the story. And I think that's like some of the mistakes that GH makes with these stories. Like nobody really needed Finn and Liz's story. Like just like when women are trying to find themselves, like we actually don't need or like heal themselves, like we actually don't need their romantic partners or potential romantic partners there. That's just not my vibe, and I just don't like that at all ever. Um, so I am hopeful that they turn a corner on the story. I still like them as a pairing, but just the story didn't work for me.
Yeah, I didn't want to piggyback on the Bobby thing. So, like I said, yeah, it's too bad that Bobby seems to be only on the show just to be the grandma or to support. But they could have, I agree that if she actually went to Jacksonville, then they could have incorporated her backstory into it too and kind of just given her more of a reason to be down there. And yeah, I really wish they had done that. And I agree. If Bobby went down there versus Drew, maybe Drew for one day, but if Bobby was the main person that she was interacting with, then this would have been better for me.
Yeah. It also just felt like such a weird moment for like, okay, and this is the moment we're gonna get together. Why?
You
Why
don't
this
think
moment?
scattering ashes in Malibu, Florida is romantic?
I mean, that's
Oh,
sexy time complete. Hello.
Complete with like bad audio because the
Yeah.
the
wind.
audio is really bad this week after you
Yeah.
complimented it last
I
week.
know. They didn't learn, or I don't know.
It was like it was bad. And I just don't understand. Like, there's just no story. Like, like they were like not together for reasons that didn't really make sense, and then they got together for reasons that didn't really make sense. And I think so much of it is just the Drew of it all too. Like I was thinking about Carly's pairings over the years, and I was like, this is the most boring, right? Like Drew's the most boring. Like Drew, like Cameron Mathis's version of Drew is the most boring person that Carly has been with. I feel like I might be glossing over some minor pairings, but I'm just thinking like even more recently. So I don't know. Like I'm very anti, you know, Drew Matheson. And when he was saying something like, it shaped me into who I am. I was like, who are you? Who are you? I don't know who you are. And so like him being paired, like it's not about the actor chemistry. The actor's chemistry is fine, but the characters, like those two being paired together, Carly is a character. Okay, we know who Carly is. Carly knows who Carly is. But I still don't know who Drew is. And it's not in like a mysterious, like, who is this man? It's like literally, who is this man? I've been watching him for a year and I don't know who he is. Because he really didn't have much to start with, right? Like what made Drew work at all was Billy Miller before. Because Billy Miller's got that little something. I know Tracy has said this a million times. They should have just brought Cameron back as Ryan Lavery. And this is me. I'm agreeing with that. I fucking hate Ryan Lavery. But he would have been way more interesting with Carly than Drew is. They like Carly needs a little bit of mess.
Yes.
You know, because I just feel like I'm like, I don't want Carly to not be messy. I want her to be messy. I mean, she's still gonna be messy, but like this just feels. And I could, and then I was like, if you're gonna try to make me feel grounded in Drew's character by talking about Oscar, it's not the right approach for me.
And you know, for me, I was like, finally, it's Drew, Oscar's dad.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's not working for me is Finn and Reiko taking over Liz's storyline. Finally, like it's like we're finally getting to meet, like see Liz with her parents, and like it's all about Finn and Reiko, who like I really don't care about. Like she was barely, it's just such a weird, I don't know what else to say about it that hasn't already been said. It's ungood. It's ungood. And you know, Cody, ugh. That's it. I'll turn it over to Tanya to talk more about how terrible Cody is.
What more is there to say? Again, he was on my screen way too much for this week. He's like he's being. I like the fact that Sam is on to him a little bit now that
finally.
Now that she knows what's happening with Spinelli. I mean, she's questioning his every move. I love that. Like, why don't you want me investigating the necklace? You didn't remember Britt's drink. You know, she's all up in his business, and I love that. So hopefully the world will come to see him as we all see him, but I don't need to see him at all, period. So let that go.
Like, you know, I've seen like the con artist storyline
right
out before, and it's like y'all don't put in, he's not charming enough or like attentive enough for us to root for this. Like it's one thing, like you know what, because I loved Leo and Greenlee and he was conning her, and I should have hated it, but Josh Duhamel was so charming and they wrote him so smitten,
right?
And their dynamic was so compelling that you're like, oh, he's awful, but I love him.
And the Kim was the Kim.
The Kim was the Kim was the Kim.
Right.
And this, I'm just like, leave her alone, get a job.
And Britt doesn't actually look like she likes him, even though she says it. She's like, yeah, I like him. No, you don't. You're like, I think definitely the actress is phoning it in at this point.
Sprina like Snorri better than Britt like Cody.
Yeah.
Trina don't like that man at all.
Right.
Because you know, like when Kelly was with Kelly, when the Kellys were together, that scene, I was like, the chemistry is popping. Like, this is what Kelly T-Ball looks like when she's in a scene with someone she likes. Like when she's in
even when she was with Dante, even when she was with Dom.
That scene was more interesting.
When she's with Cassandra, like, anyway, good luck out there, Kelly. I understand. We'll miss you. I understand. I won't miss you that much because I'm gonna see you on Station 19.
I'm watching you be a messy mess on Station 19. So
great.
Yeah.
You're busy. Good job.
Other stuff that's not working for me. I don't know. That scene with Liz and Terry in the car was just like way too long. I'm like, go in the house already. Why are you talking like just sitting in that car the whole show? I was like, I would have rather seen her, hemming and hawing in the house than hemming and hawing and talking to Terry. I didn't like it in the car. It was just no. Just go in the house, get what you need, make this interesting for us, please, because your conversation isn't. And I love Terry, but it just was no. I didn't like that scene. Also, what's not working for me is the fact that Ned, Drew, and Michael are still fighting over the same old argument. I need them to move on. I don't like it. I don't want to see it.
Let me say something about Nedward. Okay. I hate it.
Right.
Ned being a dick. And I didn't care about the ELQ stuff that much before because I like Valentine. So I wasn't on Ned's side, but I like thought, I like the Valentine one.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But his behavior was like, what did you do? You look like a sucker. You're like, Valentine won't get back to me. That's what they warned you about, bro.
Right.
And then to be like, I've never liked the Quartermain Corinthos conversation with Michael ever. So when you bring that in, like when he's like, AJ's your dad, but like you're only a Quartermain when it's convenient. Really, Eddie Main? We're talking about convenience? I just don't. The storyline never made sense because right now you do not have more power with ELQ than you would have had if Michael and Drew were in charge. You are chairman of the board. That could have been in the negotiation with Michael and Drew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. And then like threatening Drew, who was just like imprisoned on an island. You're like, I'm gonna send you to jail for insider trading because I'm mad at you. Not because Drew threatened to do anything, but he was just like, let's do another vote.
No, because he's a nice guy, and his being a nice guy is wearing thin. That's why he's doing it. I'm like,
No,
Although when
Nedward.
Drew threatened him when he's like, "You're not gonna like it," I was like,
really? Like, I didn't believe it.
I'm gonna stand beside Carly's boyfriend. You know, when you have a friend that has a boyfriend, and you're like, okay, that's how I feel about Drew. I'm gonna stand beside him.
I don't know about that. I've never felt that way.
I didn't believe him. Like, you're not gonna, I'm like,
I forgot who I was talking to.
Like my friends' boyfriends, please. Not enough to defend them, just enough to tolerate some of them.
well, yeah.
Yeah, no. I just felt like Ned was being like an unnecessary dick and it felt really, really forced.
Yeah.
It was just like, he was like, what did you do? Did you call immigration? Why would Michael do something to Valentine? They're not even thinking about you.
Right.
Like Ned is like just really, Ned is like, am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Maybe I am. That was Ned last week. Calm down.
You're not the drama.
I just was like glad someone finally named that shit was insider trading because I remember the whole time I felt like, isn't this like illegal? I mean, I don't know anything about stocks and I'm broke. I don't know about that shit, but that seems like isn't that what Martha Stewart did?
It was so illegal, but they was just really toasting it up at the pool and shit like it wasn't illegal. They were just like outwardly talking about it. I was like, well, maybe I just don't know.
I was like, maybe in GH reality this isn't illegal, but apparently that was mostly my thing.
Maybe soul theft is illegal and insider trading is legal, but I guess neither.
Neither. Opposite. Soul theft is legal. Insider trading, no.
Yeah.
So we ready to hot take? Is that what we're doing now?
Mm-hmm.
I hate Ava's storyline so much right now. But I love Maura West's performances. I loved her. I thought her vulnerability was so good this week. Even though like I didn't want her to feel vulnerable and like upset, she just did it so well. And like playing that kind of like boomeranging between being vulnerable and then like lashing out and being like saying like I'm not gonna be baited by him, but she so obviously is gonna be baited by him. She was just being so like chaotic and emotional and tender and vicious. I give my girl a story that is not ridiculous. Thank you. But I thought that kind of like confusion and like almost hurt that Victor is like not on her side anymore was very compelling to me. I was like, I went back and watched that again, like intentionally. Was like, am I reading too much in this, or am I getting? Am I fine after a year finally getting my Vita? Give it to me. I want it.
I don't think you're getting your Vivo, but I also agree with all of that. Maura Westing, you know, what else is there? I continue to laugh, and I will probably laugh forever at, well, good night. Like, Trina, you do not like this man. Like, put us all out of our misery. My God.
Well,
It's the level to which she does not want to be bothered by him. It's like just really sending me over the edge. Like watching her actively not like this man is really a lot.
I like Tabiana cracks me up. She is so funny, and I know those are gonna be her choices.
Yes.
It's like I feel like she was like, okay, I'm getting the direction. I'm supposed to like this man, so I'm gonna have chemistry with him. I'm gonna act like I really like him. Oh, now I don't like this man. Say less. I know how to act like I don't like this man.
And little sis, you definitely are. You don't like this man.
Message received. Trina does not like Rory or
there was
10 out of 10. Trina does not like Snorri.
There was this one scene, that the one part just before they start making out where she looks at him with the come hither eyes, but that cracked me up. She was just like, I was just like, what are you doing? And it's just like, no.
Thinking about Spencer is what she's doing.
Probably. But it would have been even more hilarious if she like patted the bed and was looking at him at the same time. Like, no, you don't want to do that. No.
That Comic-Con really got them in the mood.
No, I think she was turned off by that phone call where he was like, you better make it right. Because I was just like, yeah, that sounds really hot, dude. He sounds like a kid trying to play at, you know, being a man. And it didn't come off very well.
Take from you, Tanya.
That I don't actually have any real hot takes. I'm gonna respond to all of y'all because that week was just like, ugh.
Yeah, I
don't have any.
Sante remains spicy.
Yeah,
that little story they're given, making out at the boxing ring. She's just sitting on his lap at oh my god, I can't remember the name of the club.
The Void.
Yeah, her outfit this week was awesome. She looked great.
She looked great. She was looking amazing, and Dante knew it. Dante said, "That's my girl."
Right.
They look like little bites right
here on my lap. So they still don't have a story, but they're hot. So good for them. Give them a story. Thank you. Like a real one that doesn't have anything to do with Stable Baby.
Yes, they're like
This is
little
the-
bite-sized snacks.
yeah. I mean, this is the actual one case that I hope she finishes so that way he can go.
Please.
Yeah. He can
Mhm.
leave.
I loved when, speaking of my girl Samantha, when she was talking to Britt, and she was like, "Are you wearing a wire? Like,
Right. Yeah, because Brett was just like, did
are
you
you been a
steal
jewel
jewels?
thief?
You jewel thief.
Girl, get out my business, okay?"
Yeah.
Sam had the correct energy. Okay.
Because I don't be fucking with workout.
Right.
I'm not fucking you, so yeah.
I would like to see it. Anyway.
Kelly for Kelly.
Oh, I do have another one. Georgie, little girl Georgie. She was like, huh? She was like, are you going with Sam? Boo. I was like, what? Did you just say boo?
She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I just want you to come because I need someone who I can talk
Talk
to."
to. I was like,
I loved it.
She was like, "I can't talk to this peon."
Like
what
he
is
was
with
talking to her, she was like, "Oh well."
Maxie's children are off the chain. First it was Little Weezy, now we got Georgie.
They're bad. I love it.
Love it.
It was so good.
Yeah. Where's the little boy? The little boy. What's his name?
James.
James. I can't wait to see him.
Well, he better take after Maxie.
Well, yeah, because I'm afraid he might be nice like
Like
Nathan.
Nathan. Ugh. Speaking of Snorri. Ugh.
Oh no. Not the slander he did.
No, I mean Nathan is okay, but I don't want the kid to be like Nathan. I want him to be
I
like
just don't want him another character that's just like him. He's doing great where he is, which is dead.
I want
On
I
like a
want
random Tuesday. Would we?
I
No,
want
even I never liked Nathan, but like I was like, that's rude. That's really disrespectful. Because I was like, oh, surely he can't be dead. It's a Tuesday.
right.
Yikes.
That was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Me neither.
I have a few. When Nina, well, I have a couple Nina related. Nina is always tracking someone's drinks. When she was like talking to Ava, like, don't say it's always fine somewhere. Ava was like, I'm not a fucking cornball. I would never say that. And I'm just like, Nina, get out of people. What are you, the libation lieutenant? Get out of people's cups. That's me being petty. But the other thing is, I was like, why is she confronting Victor? I actually hate when they talk about Nina and Charlotte because that relationship was so toxic. Like the beginning of it, the reason they were in relationship, it's like, I actually remember why you were in Charlotte's life and how you tried to undermine. I don't even like Lulu, but you tried to undermine her like relationship with Lulu. Like it's just, it. I hate how they like erase all of the things that have happened with that character to like just have some relationship. Like, oh, me and Sasha's like my daughter. Is she? Because you got her ass arrested. Or like everybody in the room has done wrong when it was like Sasha, Gladys, her, and Sunny. Let's not compare anything
Not
that
the
Sasha
same.
has done to anything that anybody else in this room has done. Let's not do it. So that's my Nina slander. That's all I got for that. Cameron is a single dad of two kids, holding down two jobs and school, If his girlfriend wants to spend the night, let his girlfriend spend the night. Liz, you left him while there's a serial killer roaming the streets.
That
If he's
was
banging Joss at night, that actually is one of the least of the concerns.
agreed. Elizabeth, let this man live his life. He's raising your kids for you. Unlike his father. So,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
yeah, that was trash. And then the whole conversation with Finn after, I was like, please.
Finn needs to mind his business for real.
You could have checked on Cam with a text.
Yeah. And then judging him. No. You ain't his dad.
Trash.
But
Get outta here.
you know what? Now I feel like the Reba theme song needs to be rewritten for Cam.
Yeah.
Single dad who loves his kids.
I'm a
I'm a
survivor.
survivor.
Oh my god.
Do it, William. Do it.
Yes, right.
Write a song and have it debut it at the club.
I was gonna also say when the ADA was like, Anna is the mother of Robert's kid. Robert's grown. Let's be like not kid. They share a daughter, like something, but kid was doing some stretching there. Like Robin's hella grown.
Robin's probably older than she was.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then when Nita was trying to talk to Ava about how dangerous Victor was, and she was like, he pushed Scott on a plane, and Ava was like, with a parachute.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like this has been said multiple times. Like, he wasn't trying to kill Scott. Scott had a parachute.
And he did say, next time I'm not gonna give you a parachute.
Just kidding.
That scene between Willow and Chase was weird. Willow, why you kiss him?
Yeah.
What's going on? Is this a goodbye cancer kiss? Like, what's happening here? I didn't. It was weird. And then the final thing I'll say is, I don't know why they be doing Chalid and Chalid fans the way they do. How people been waiting for these characters to bang forever, and they end up in a montage with Chaos and Soda and Felicia and Mac.
It's really weird.
Why?
I don't understand why they didn't get a standalone scene.
Yeah.
Their first time.
And the show didn't even end on them. I mean, I guess this is also Soda's first time, like, not having to follow maritime law when one of them wasn't married, but...
Oh, is it? I didn't even realize.
I mean, maybe not, but it's the first time we've seen them. That's all I got for hot takes.
The hot takes were warm this week.
Yeah, they were.
The episode was warm.
Yeah. Lukewarm.
But we do have Soap Opera Digest that gave us November sweeps previews.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we are swept. Sandra, will you take us through them?
We'll see. They don't seem that sweeping to me.
No,
I know. I was just like, I don't know.
But we'll give it a try. Okay, we'll start with Crusona Millo. Because nobody likes that shit.
I like Crew. Please don't put them with Sona and Milo.
Well, that's where their story is. Sorry. You choose to like a story in that ecosystem. Nobody told you to. Okay.
Right.
Sunny. provides vital assistance to aid a dear friend in her time of need. Okay. Sunny has friends?
I think it's them
Sunny,
putting Sona into Anna's story.
it,
Oh yeah.
it was either Anna
Or
or
Sasha. I
Eve,
Or
don't know.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Sasha. But yeah, I think it's Anna or Lucy. Because they're like, oh, this is an interesting story. So Maurice was like, put me in it. Anyway, Sunny entrusts Dex with an important task, but it may prove to be Sunny's undoing. I wish Carly and Drew. Schemes past and present may force Carly and Drew to throttle back on their budding relationship. Throttle. It's very intense language. Nina catches Carly in a compromising position, which could force Carly to come clean about some secrets she is keeping. Nina has grown increasingly suspicious of the nature of Willow and TJ's relationship, and her suspicions risk Willow's secrets coming out into the open. Meanwhile, Michael has devoted a considerable amount of bandwidth to taking down Sunny once and for all. Unfortunately, this has left him missing out on the fact that something is going on with Willow, and those two aspects of his life collide in a surprising way. So, are we going to finally find out that Willow is Nina's daughter? That could be sweeping-ish. Would be appropriate because May sweeps was when Vegas got dropped. Quite
I
frankly,
forgot that we've known that long.
yeah. Quite frankly, I can't muster up the energy to care. But moving on. Jocelyn and Cameron are growing up and growing apart. They still care deeply for one another, but they may find they are no longer suited for each other. They were never suited for each other. All of which is complicated by the very inconvenient feelings Joss is developing for Dex. Meanwhile,
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I hate the direction of the story. I think it is setting up this like, look at this slut Jocelyn hurting this like nice guy Cam. And I feel like the show does this so often, and they actually just undermine, like, it's almost like what they did with Willow, Chase, and Michael, because they overestimated how much people cared about Willow and Michael and underestimated how much people cared about Chase. And I think that they're throwing Joss into that dynamic. Like, it's clear to me that Joss doesn't want to be with Cam. Like, she has said multiple times, like, how much his friendship means to her, and not their relationship. Yikes. But they keep setting Cam up as being like this like virtuous, like infallible character, which I don't mind, but that is the setup. And I actually just hate when they do that to like women on the show.
Like yeah, I almost want to see a little bit more of Cameron losing interest in the relationship to kind of make it more of an equal footing, because this past Friday, I mean, they connected again and he was happy and glad about it. So now, and then she goes to the site for Oscar and is like, yeah, I'm pulling away from him. So that kind of, you're right, it sets it up as her being the impetus of having this relationship fall apart, when I'm hoping it'll be more like maybe next week we'll see Cameron, developing some sort of distance from Jocelyn, whether, sees another girl or something. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. It sounds like they're going to make it seem like it's her fault and that she will be devastating Cameron. But at the same time, like I pointed out, Cameron saying, just because I have good manners doesn't mean I'm weak. So maybe he'll be like, you know what? You're right. We're not in a good relationship. But
I doubt it, but I do wish that it was more complicated and complex than what it feels like it's being set up to be.
Well, chaos is sinking. As it should be. I just think it's going to be hard to balance it because of William's schedule too.
yeah.
That kind of sucks because they can't give him another like love interest really right now. Like there's just like not, doesn't feel like there's like space for it. So that would be more interesting to me if like he also had someone else that he was interested in. Because we also like not, yeah. I mean, Esme's out for obvious reasons. Unless we're gonna have Cameron raise another kid. That's
What
not it.
Yeah,
What lucky.
What happened to that rumor of Emma coming back? Is that true or no? Is that just something in the social media streets?
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, but I don't hear anything about anything anymore. It's not in the soap opera digest, which is what I am operating from. Let's move on. Sprina. Trina's relationship with Rory arrives at a crossroads while Spencer languishes in prison. And boy, does he ever languish. That struggle beard.
Oh my God, that was the one hot take I had that I forgot. But let's continue on. We'll wait till after this.
Okay. But Spencer is not alone in Pentonville. Cyrus has his eyes on him, and Victor does too. This doesn't really feel like a preview. These all feel like things that just happened last week.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say about the whole. I was gonna let you finish, but I was like, none of this is new. Everything is like stuff we already know.
So I was like, oh, so that will continue to happen. I thought my child would get out of prison in November sweeps, but I guess I was wrong.
And so unless there is something that's happening with Sprina that they are like purposefully not spoiling, that we have no movement for Sprina in November.
That's what it sounds like. I am curious about what the crossroads is for Trina and Rory. Because is the crossroads just like she doesn't like him, or because that doesn't feel like a crossroads. That feels like a, you know, you've been together for a few months, you don't really like him, you could just break up. The end.
Crossroads. In the middle of the night, she calls out Spencer's name, and Rory hears it. That would be great.
I would like to see it.
Love it.
Okay, Laura forges an uneasy alliance in an effort to protect her family.
Laura's
back. Laura will be back. Victor has sent Anna up a creek, but her friends, Robert, Mac, and Felicia, won't leave her there. Valentine finds an unlikely ally to aid him and Anna in her time of need. Holly is involved too, but is she Anna's friend or foe? Robert has stars in his eyes when he sees Holly, but do those stars blind him to the truth of her return?
I didn't even realize that she had put his phone on Do Not Disturb or whatever. So in my mind, it was like, oh, she put her phone on there. I'm like, oh yeah, but she doesn't have a phone. So I didn't realize until this week when they couldn't get a hold of him that she had done that to his phone.
Yeah, I can tell what she did, but I do remember that, you know, he gave her his phone so she can contact her son.
Yeah. And then she put it on.
Yeah. And then I didn't know what she did, but yeah.
Yeah. So Holly is up to something sketchy. And she's obviously remembers where she's been.
Mm-hmm. And they set it up with Felicia's like,
yeah,
Felicia's like, I wish you would stop lying to me. And so that means that they're setting it up that she's holding something back.
And she's giving all kinds of looks. Like they're doing all kinds of close-ups on her. where she looks shifty. She clearly already knows about Victor because he was the one who was holding her captive. So how did she get out? For a little, I know we were talking about the possibility of Alex being back, but I kind of thought was like, was Holly wearing an Anna mask? And like, that's what happened, because that's also how she could have ended up in the water. Da, 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 da. So, but obviously Holly knows more than she's saying, and she's up to something sketchy. So we will see what her true motivations are, hopefully in November. Esme is locked up in the tower at Windermere and works feverishly to improve her circumstances while Nicholas tries to prevent anyone from discovering his prisoner. And he is also trying to keep his wife in his life. Ava has to make a decision about the future of her marriage, and she is not the one who is usually inclined to forgive and forget. Her choice will certainly be affected by the other secrets that Nicholas has been keeping from her. End him, finish him, send him to jail.
All of that, bro.
My child's placed in prison. Carceral Sandra only for Marcellus Cassid, whatever, not Cassidine.
Casaloma.
Casaloma, that's right. I just want Esme to get out so that she can ruin his life and then she can fall off the parapet again. As Curtis and Portia choose a date for their nuptials, Jordan is increasingly uneasy about keeping Portia's secret. A visit from the PCPD sends the Robinson family reeling. Is it Rory? Oh, you're still with this guy? Huh.
Yeah, I wonder if there's another Hook murder, because this is like one of the laziest serial killers ever. And then like it's connected to Trina, and they find out. I hope when he kills that ADA. Tired of her.
No, or the assistant mayor. Ugh.
They only have one Hook spoiler. It's like they've forgotten about this story, which is actually interesting. Alexis plays a dangerous game with a killer, and the Hook has another Port Charles resident in their crosshairs. Just one? It's fucking November sweeps, and this serial killer is only gonna kill one person? Y'all.
And maybe not even kill them, just be in their crosshairs.
Just in their crosshairs. Anyway, I'm calling these 3 spoilers data theft meets salute your shorts with a dash of conning a dying woman. So let me just get through all of them before you have your commentary. As Maxie and Austin's relationship continues to progress, Austin will be forced into an uncomfortable position by his cousin, Mason. On Spinelli's behalf, Sam continues to look into Cody's past, which may dovetail with a secret Dante has been keeping of his own. I think it's Dante has a secret macrame addiction from his youth. And it will rock Sante to their core. Just as things are beginning to look up for Britt, her past catches up with her. The genuine feelings that Cody is developing for Britt seriously hinder his efforts to seize his birthright. That was it. For that, data theft meets salute your shorts with a dash of conning a dying woman. I know how much you're eager to watch this storyline play out.
No one.
Are they gonna kill Britt?
I bet she's gonna go to prison again. That's what I'm guessing. I like the necklace has something to do with what happened with her and Faison in wherever they were. Spain, Madrid, something. that got mentioned before a few months ago. I don't feel like they would kill Brit from anything but Huntington's. And they'll probably want to be able to bring Kelly back to wrap up that story at some point. So maybe she goes on the run again. I would rather that. I don't want to. Brit doesn't need to go to prison again. Ugh. Elizabeth's search for answers about her past brings her at long last face to face with her parents. When Elizabeth does return home to Port Charles is with information that will rock her and Finn's relationship. I wish. Rock it all the way to its grave. I'm tired. Speaking of being tired, Sasha has certainly been through the ringer for this past year. She is dealing with the fallout from Brando's tragic passing. There are many unanswered questions about her guardianship and what agency she retains in her life. It will become further complicated as a familiar face assumes the role of her guardian. Brooklyn faces a crisis of conscience when her goal to take down Link conflicts with Chase's long-term goals for his own future. This is already happening. I'm so confused. These are the worst previews ever. And then we know now, so again, Allie Mills makes her debut as a character with strong ties to and history with many of our beloved Port Charles residents. That was revealed on Friday. She is playing Heather Weber. So that's pretty cool. Wasn't she the mom from what's that show? Oh, sorry, that's very unhelpful. The show, The Wonder Years. She's the mom from The Wonder Years. I didn't recognize her at first, and I looked her up, and I was like, "Oh, the mom from this is a very different look for you." The range.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be a very traditional GH Thanksgiving with added twists. One story in particular will really catch fire.
Oh God.
Catch fire. It's gonna catch fire. It would be a poor choice to miss those Thanksgiving episodes.
Someone said it would be a poor choice to miss those episodes in the actual article.
I think who was being interviewed for this? Was it
It's a Dan probably.
Dan probably? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that if there's a fire, I hope that Cameron starts it, just to like honor history.
Cameron started the fire.
It was always right. But the other thing I was going to say about Sasha, so I had posted something on our Twitter, and people were like defending conservatorships in our Twitter mentions, and I was like, please don't do this, and I just muted it. But I was like, this storyline, I actually really, really hated, because like, what if we didn't free Britney, and her dad was nice? Like, this is not what I signed up for. Nobody has the range. Close the story out, end it. And I really specifically hate that like Sasha only is existing again, and I will continue to say it, to like prop Sona. It's like to make Sunny and Nina seem like that they're decent people. So like they're in Sasha's story. All the POV is about them. Like literally, like Sasha was like, okay, Glass is gonna be my conservative. And then they left the room and Sona was like, yeah, at least she has us. Let's make out. What? I hate everything about the story. Everything about it. Start to finish, top to bottom, awful story.
Yeah. The sweeps does not look like it's going to be sweeping. But I think that the fire is going to be Esme. I think she's going to set fire to Windermere or where she's being kept captive. That's my guess.
And then the world will discover she's alive.
Mm-hmm. With the Cassadine.
And pregnant.
Fair. Because that little demon baby is not the heir. Okay, that's my child. My child is the Cassadine heir. Goodbye.
Prepare to be unswept, friends. Prepare to be dusty.
As fuck. Yeah. So I guess we can talk about next week, which
Yeah.
also
Close
goes
out.
really sweeping. On Monday, Finn treats a new patient. Who is it gonna be? Who would it be? Was anyone like sick or injured on?
Is it not Heather Weber?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I guess probably. Maybe she has an infectious disease. Right.
yeah, maybe that's why they're dragging her out of the hospital.
Robert opens up to Holly. Scott defends Anna. That shit's gonna be hilarious. I am actually really looking forward to that because you know Finola is gonna eat that up. Alexis calls out Gregory. I wish she would call him all the way out of town.
Mhm.
A long-awaited reunion takes place. Can I tell you, I'm such a clown. When I first saw this, I thought it was gonna be Sprina. I know I can't be the only one. I just don't know what's talking about. I don't know what people are saying on the internet, but I was just like, maybe it's Sprina.
Put that clown makeup on. Get it ready. Just
It's probably Laura and Kevin, or
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay if it was Laura coming back. I don't really know
yeah.
that I
Laura's
care.
supposed to come back on Monday.
Oh, well, then it's probably Laura.
Mhm.
Great. Tuesday, Elizabeth World is rocked. Robert rejects Sunny's offer.
Mhm.
Finn checks in on Anna. He'll probably just going to talk about himself.
Right.
Drew seeks advice from Alexis. Oh, insider trading. Sam tries to keep the peace. On Wednesday, Trina confides in Jocelyn that she does not like that man.
Mhm.
I made up the last part of that. She just confides in Jocelyn. I should be so lucky. We all should. Scott and Albrecht give Cody the cold shoulder, which is the correct energy.
Right.
Alexis calls on Jordan and Dante for help. Gregory voices his reservations. Oh, is Alexis gonna try to like do a sting operation? Oh no.
Probably.
Honey, you're gonna love it. This is gonna be your favorite storyline of the week. Sam enlists Spinelli's aid. On Thursday, Austin comforts Gladys. Portia.
Oh.
It's because they want to put Roger in her back. Yeah.
Okay.
Or, you know. Portia and Curtis change their plans. Maxie and Sasha have an important meeting. Max news shocks Robert. That's probably going to be about Cody. Holly is torn. And then on Friday, Cam and Drew reminisce. My poor child's cousin's back must be so tired. Austin has a request for Spinelli. It's probably, can you get your daughter to stop bullying me?
Did you tell your daughter that you like chocolate ice cream too?
Right. Tell her to be nice to me.
Get the bored ass ice cream out of here, loser.
Hello, chocolate ice cream is great.
But that was Georgie.
Yeah.
Joss is surprised by what she sees. God, I almost said something really wrong. Okay. Jordan puts pressure on Portia. Maxie shares her theory. And that is the week.
She already shared Spinelli's business with Austin.
I was just thinking about that. I was like, Maxie, why are you such a bad person?
Telling all the secret.
Trying to get your alleged friend and sister-in-law Brit with your shitty stepbrother, and now you're telling Spinelli's business all over town. Maxie, no discretion at all. But also, why y'all telling Maxie secrets? That's also on you. So yeah. I just when is my child getting out of prison? I ask this every week. Is this the week that my child finally gets out of prison?
I just can't
for the holidays?
I can't believe that two of my favorite characters are incarcerated. It feels like a personal affront.
Mm-hmm.
Free Anna. Free Spencer. Also free Trina from that man.
Yes.
Free them all, and free Nicholas Chavez's face from that struggle mustache. Him look like a hungover Shakespearean pirate reject. Like he applied for the role and was rejected because the mustache was like unbelievable. So please take him out of jail and shave. Thank you.
Now I agree, but we can't say those things in public about my child.
Like I was so glad, like when Trina was fantasizing about him, and he was that was beautiful.
It was very nice.
What's going on right now in the prison? I can't.
I will say we did not compliment him because we compliment Nicholas Chavez every week, obviously, because he's amazing. But like the physicality of like how down he was in prison when Joss and Cam came to see him, it like the way he looked so bad showed up on their faces. Like it was just like a very good scene. They're all so talented. I'm very proud of them.
My favorite part was when Joss was taking Cameron's hand, and then she had to like dig into Spencer's fist to get him to take her hand. Like she's like, "Give me your hand, doofus!" Like he was still trying to be, you know, like internal and solo, and she was just like, "Look, we're in this together," and she had to like pry his hands apart.
He was being such a little shit.
No, he was like,
like Cameron was trying to be so nice to him, and he was like, "What's wrong with this guy? I want to sap," but I was like,
desperate and blah blah blah. Like he's only really emotional with Cameron when they're alone. Like whenever he's with other people, it's just like he's always ragging on Cameron.
Little shit. I love him.
Yeah.
Spencer is hurting, okay? And as we know, they don't rehabilitate you in jail, and so he needs therapy.
Hurt people hurt. Hurt people hurt people. But you know what? You still have to be accountable for your actions.
You do need to.
I'm raising an accountable child, or I'm trying to. He makes it very hard, though. And
well, at least he stopped stalking.
And his uncle needs to hook it up with a razor for his face.
Yeah. Well, in the words of Trina Robinson, well, good night.
Good night.
Good night, then.